Hey everybody, welcome to another cast of the Aurorian Age, episode 22. With me tonight, we have a couple of new faces with us. We have Rastilet, or
How's it
Rastil.
going? How's it going?
We have Spin down there in the corner. You can say hi, Spin.
Hi, Spin.
And then we've got a familiar face over here, Tier Omega.
What's up, guys?
And I'm Bear. Some of you have seen me around a couple times. Last time my hair was a little frazzled and just out of place, unkept. I just couldn't handle it. There was too much color. It kept shutting the cast out. It was freaky. So we decided to go without the wig this time. But so guys, how's ArcheAge been treating you these last 2 weeks? Because we missed last week right after the castle debacle. So what have you guys been up to this past couple of weeks? Let's start with Rast.
Getting the farms ready to make oils for armor. That's about it. Making bundles. That's what I do.
Another farmer bites the dust. We had Marcos, who was in charge of the farms, and he kind of passed that job off to Rast and to Nassaman. So the farm machine is chewed up and spit out another person. So we'll see how long these two guys can hang out there. Spin, how's it been going for you, man?
Well, I was going great guns into PvP, and then all of a sudden Caitlin called me up to a channel, the invite channel, and said, "I've got a job for you." And next thing I know, I'm one of the recruiting officers, and my PvP went down to almost nothing.
Yeah, that is true. I think you offered to help a couple of times, and that's all it took, man. That you poked your head up, and that the hammer came down and nailed you into a position. That happens a lot around here.
Yeah,
but you have been doing a great job.
I'm glad I didn't volunteer more on the farm.
Yeah, that's what happened to me. I was like, yeah, I'll help out on the farm, and Deuce was like, oh, we love you, one of us. So yeah. So Tier, brother, how's things going for you? What you been up to the last couple of weeks?
Leveling and leveling and leveling, because I pretty much uprooted Omega Ascended from the east and joined you guys on the west.
Double thumbs up for that. Man, it's been awesome having you guys over here. I know that you probably caught some flack from it, but hell, we've all been catching flack here lately.
Yeah.
Well, we're totally used to it. We catch flack all the time for being allied with Reds because people still see this game for some ungodly reason as green versus red.
Yeah, especially on our server, and that's one of the things we're going to touch on. But let's go back a couple of weeks and the launch of Aurora. We have to talk. We have to, look at it. It's the elephant that's in the room. So the launch of Aurora, from my perspective, it looked like I was watching people run in place for like 3 minutes at a time. I'm a melee character, so I would get somebody targeted, and by the time I was able to do anything, they were just completely out of range. So one of our fears kind of were realized with the server not being able to support as many people that was there. I know on our server we had an alliance that we've getting kind of different reports anywhere from 2,000 to 2,500 people. And I know Grievance was there with at the most we had 267. And we had some other folks that were there. We had, I believe it was Slayers on our server. They actually had everything they needed to make an egg pack pretty early, and their guild leader got kicked and could not get back in. Talk about a kick in the happy no place. So that was a bad one, man. I mean, I'm not trying to slam, Tryon too terribly hard, but man, it was really rough for a lot of folks. And talking to some people on other servers, they kind of experienced the same thing. From what we were told, one of the groups that we had worked a lot with in Omega server, We Are Legends, they got a pretty large guild, and they only had like 100 people that was able to get online. And, so, they didn't get a castle, and Grievance, no, we did not get a castle. We were 10 seconds or less from getting a castle when the last one went up. I believe we did pretty good. I'm not trying to make any excuses or anything. It was some tough battles up there, and I think the hardest battle was fighting the lag and the login monster. Holy crap! It wasn't a Q monster this time. It was just trying to get logged back in. So, but since then, I think we've seen a drastic change in how the server plays out.
Oh, definitely.
Yep, it's going to be interesting the next to see how everything kind of comes together. And yeah, like you said, the lag was horrendous. It went from being a sandbox MMO RPG to being a turn-based strategy game that everything moved every 15 seconds, and hopefully you could hit someone.
Yeah. Remind me, it does kind of sound like one of the old board games when you're playing Mech Warrior. You had to plan your move out, and by the time you was able to shoot, the guy was somewhere else. But so, Spin, what about you, man? How's things been looking?
Well, I just thought it was interesting. I read the Firekate's dev post on the official forums about the release. It just came out 5 days ago, and I compared it to a couple of different journalists who put together. And in this case, I'm going to talk about Massively. So Firekate, the dev, said Aurora's release was disappointing. The Massively quote would be amateur hour disaster.
Nice.
And you look at Firekate, and she said, you know, the game was stable at 80% of the population, but not as smooth as we were hoping. And what Massively goes on to say is, random, the gods have disconnected you messages, character screen crashes, hack shield error, conspired to keep us out of the game. And the dev goes on to say, you know, it was too complex and there's no way to go back to fix it. And the Massively post talks about something that a lot of people have mentioned to me, and that is to leave the servers online during a competitive launch event with so many connectivity issues was a major error.
Yeah.
I'll give him
But-
that.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think that honestly, within the first 6 hours, if they would have been like, all right, guys, we're going to hit the reset button, we're going to roll everything back, because you can do rollbacks, and, you know, see how everything goes from there. We'll restart it, and, you know.
The devs
Yeah,
actually
it's
said the
bad.
rollback, it was too complex to have a rollback. And my other Massively quote was, no rollback? Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I think, you know, the best thing they could have done as soon as they saw the issues that were coming up, and it didn't happen 6 hours into it. We're talking like, you know, 15 minutes from the time the server came up, that they could have shut it down right then and said, okay, we need to fix something. One of the things that's been brought up a lot is, why was there no test server? Why wasn't this fully tested with a community that would have been willing to help? There was no test server. They said they tested it internally. They don't have 5,000 people that can test this internally. And, you know, and we saw it on every server. It wasn't just, you know, Salfira, and it wasn't just Olo. It was every server. And I never did hear how it went for the Europeans. I don't know. Have you guys heard about theirs?
I haven't read anything about it at all.
I did
I don't
notice
even-
something that wasn't a trend, though, that, you know, we were expecting everyone to port back or be ported back to their spawn point,
Yeah.
which has happened in Korea and happened in Russia. And Tron chose, for whatever reason, not to do that on this time.
That was a pretty big one, and we kind of told all of our guys, hey, look, bind, you know, in Moonswept Homes, but log off up there just in case they don't do it. And, you know, we had a bunch of people that did log off in there or up there, you know, within 30 seconds of getting to the caves. But we had just so many people that couldn't log in. We had, you know, we probably had another full rate of folks that were sitting in TeamSpeak going, crap, guys, we can't come help. And they were just getting frustrated because, you know, here we are talking about, you know, hey, guys, this guild's just purpled up and they're starting to kill us, and we need help on this wing and in this direction. And, you know, we got members that are pulling their hair out. You know, we can't come help. This is killing us, you know. And man, it just happened really, really fast. You know, I think Lunaticos had their castle within, was it like 30 or 40 minutes of the server going up? It was really fast.
Yeah, they were the first
So-
ones in and out of the cave, and we're done.
Yeah,
They were incredibly well coordinated. I mean, hats off to those guys.
Oh yeah.
definitely. I mean, they did a good job. You know, we saw some other stuff that happened, and we don't have to go into all that. But yes, as some of you may well know, that Grievance has declared war against other green guilds on the server. and we've had mixed emotions from a lot of people. We've had a lot of people that said, "Hey, thank God that Grievance is doing it." Actually, this comes from one of the leadership of one of these guilds that we're at war with, thanking us for doing it because they said if it wasn't for Grievance and Slayers, that this server would be dead. So they were thanking us for being at war with them, which I've never heard before. So that was pretty interesting. Um, so we've had a lot of mixed emotions about it, and like Tier said, a lot of people don't quite understand that this isn't a green versus red game. There's a lot more to it than that, and it's taken some folks, some adjusting to, getting used to, and guys, I don't know how to tell you this, but the next 3-4 games that are slated to come out here in the future, they're all going to be kind of like this, except for Star Citizen. I don't even think they are going to have factions. It's just going to be based off of what you do. So that's really not a red versus green on that one.
No, it's actually Star Citizen is basically you create your own factions. The community creates the factions. So
Yep.
it's all GVG, guild v guild, So.
And that's how this server's kind of turned into as well. It's alliances versus guilds versus the pirates, and we've got allies cross faction, and I think everybody's really ready for the whole ability to create your own faction, which we found out that Korea either has taken out of their 2.0 patch, or it was so messed up they had to take it out, or I don't know exactly. I can't read Korean that well, but.
Well, I think the issue was they were making it super hard to make, and there were rumors that you could only make one. There could only be one player faction created, and it had to be by the guild that had the most land on the server, a castle, a black pearl, all four of the things, a race car, some casino coin stuff. I really hope Tryon changes all of that because player factions is extremely healthy for the game. Why would you not want to do it? Why would you only restrict it to one player faction? That makes no sense and defeats the purpose, in my opinion. And why would you make it so hard to be able to create one? It's good for the game. It fits totally the dynamics of the game, and it's something that we want. I'll speak for myself. It's something that I desperately want to see.
Oh, definitely.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, and that's the colors for the guild, colors for the factions is what I'm looking forward to. If we could have red, green, yellow, blue, black, it would be cool to be the black faction, and I can think of who I'd like to be the brown faction.
Wow, that came out of the left field. It would be. I think it would be extremely healthy, especially for our server. I mean, for y'all that don't know, we have a very large coalition of guilds that have formed this alliance that probably makes up more than half of the entire Western faction. And if you don't, want to roll with those guys, then evidently, they're going to do whatever they feel that they want to do. I mean, we've been told by one of their leaders that they'll attack smaller guilds because what are they going to do about it? And that's kind of a crappy way to look at it from my perspective. And I've had a lot of people say, well, why don't Grievance just go pirate? And that way y'all can do whatever you want. But no, I don't see that coming in Grievance's future, guys. I'm sorry, pirates, but we love a lot of you. I just don't see us going pirate anytime soon. Yeah, sorry. I was saying the beer needs oil.
Yeah, we were talking about starting the cast with me wearing a bandana with an eye patch and Bear having an eye patch, and we just come out with the announcement: Grievance are now pirates, just for the troll. It would have been hilarious.
That would have been great.
Yeah. But who knows? I mean, can we put a poll up and ask folks if they think that Grievance should go pirates or not? Dash, is that something we can do? That'd be pretty cool to see everybody's take on that. Not that we're gonna listen to what you say. I think it'd just be interesting. But
I was going to say that one of my concerns is there's no incentive for the guilds who have castles right now to be in conflict with each other.
No.
And the only thing might be boredom, but probably not that because they're still busy gearing up and loving the fact they're collecting so much money every week.
Yeah, 17,000 gold every Friday is what they
Okay.
got this past Friday. We don't know what they're going to get this Friday because maybe they adjusted the tax rate and hiked it up. They could get more than that. We were told by one of the guys that they were going to be bidding 50,000 gold on their own siege scroll, and just going to bid one time. Just throw it out there, 50,000. If somebody can get it, then they get it. And I was like, holy smokes, that's a ton of cash. But if you think about it, that's not costing them anything because they've got 6 weeks of getting a minimum of 17,000 gold every time.
That's passive cash. Passive cash.
Be there just about every time. Hey, look at the little man.
Yeah, I wish Tryon or XL would implement where you couldn't buy your own tax cert from the guild. Granted, they could just fish off the money to somebody else, but I don't think guilds should be able to bid on their own tax certificate to make them keep their castle by earning it.
Yep. So the polls up there, should Grievance go pirate? It's a 1 for yes, 2 for no, and 3 for arr.
Nice.
Oh, me.
One interesting thing, though, is Tryon did say in one of their posts they are now going to get a test server together. A little late, but maybe it'll help out the future thing.
Yeah, they did. I saw something about that they were going to make it a priority for them to get it out there a little quicker. And I'm like, wow, he's a little late on that one, but
yeah, I knew the moment that they extended downtime because the patch that they implemented removed their GM tools. I knew from that point on that these guys have no test server. They're not testing any of the patches.
No. And something, we've got the 1.7 patch is the next one that we'll get, which basically is just going to open up Diamond Shores at this point. That's the only thing that's really left. Diamond Shores, I think there's another 10 man, I believe. But that's it. That's pretty much it. They said Korea's last patch was basically just a bunch of marketplace stuff, and I think the ability to ice fish was really the only thing that was added to the game. Which ice fishing, I have to admit, sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
But for a major patch, we thought we were going to see the new races and all that kind of stuff come in, but evidently that didn't even come into the game yet. So, I don't know.
What about the new warships? When are they scheduled to come to hit?
Well, the ability to modify your ships is 1.7. The Leviathan, I don't think it comes out in 1.7. I think the Leviathan is the 2.0 patch.
It was for them. It was their 2-point-something patch, yeah.
Well, what about the ship of the line and that type thing? The ship of the line.
That is a drop off of the Leviathan.
Okay.
So I'm not entirely sure on that one. That's something maybe our folks out here know a little bit more about that than we do. So yeah, if you know, we're both Care Bear pirates. So yeah, if you guys know if does the Leviathan come with the 1.7 patch or not, that's something that we should probably figure out. But so now Auroria's passed. What are we doing now? I know that Nash, you said that we're starting to turn out the war machine is going to start trying to turn out some weapons and armor and stuff like that. We got Serpentis. It's out there, and for those of you that haven't done that, holy smokes, that place is a beast. So what do y'all guys got planning on, now that Aurora is gone? What are your goals going forward?
Well, my goal personally is to help Grievance and all those that are interested with naval combat, getting the crews and everything up and ready, which I'm surprised I didn't get more interest. I don't quite understand why you have a warship and don't want to use it to go to war.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Some people are just afraid of losing it, or I think it's a matter of when you get people interested in the game and you get them excited about naval PvP by showing them how well it works, then we're going to get more support.
Yeah.
I'm on my end of it. I really want to focus on gearing up and getting people geared up so they're ready to go into fights, and then doing the training that Tyr was talking about, and then working with Jar on the land side as well.
Yeah, that was something that we've just done here lately. Tyr's been promoted to basically the admiral position. He's going to be taking over the war battles and captain training, and we've got our Jar, who's basically taken over the general side of our PvP, and he's going to be working with folks on ground tactics and using terrain to our advantage and stuff like that. So we've got a lot of people that are really excited about the PvP aspects of this game. Because what we found out is a lot of the world bosses, you've got to PvP at the same time you're working on the boss. Nash, you look like you got something you're wanting to say. I can just see it.
Now I'm basically just trying to gear up, learning the GHA, try to get in Serpentis and get everything that needs to be grown on the farms for everybody to get the armor made and the siege weapons made. It takes a ton of mats to make all that stuff. It's kind of ridiculous the amount of stuff the siege weapons take.
Yeah, well, I for one am just glad that Bear's moved away from Warlordette and to something more military. Admiral in general is much better than Warlordette.
Well, at one point we were talking about changing Chrisomir's title to event coordinator. So then Tyr would have actually been an event coordinatorette.
Oh, God. I'm so glad that didn't happen.
Why not just call him Julie the cruise director and get it over with?
There we go.
I would have joined Rising On.
Oh, there's something in my back. What is it? Oh, man.
Funny.
Yeah, Jar wasn't happy with the whole Warlord ad or the event coordinator ad either. I don't know. It's military guys. I just don't get it. But, they're asking for the pick of the new crest. Dash, I don't know if you have that. I'm sure you've got the picture since you posted it up on the last ArcheAge newscast of me and my wig. Somebody actually took a screenshot of that and turned it into a crest, and now it is flying on. I'm sure you're glad to know it's flying on many ships out there, and on the backs of many of our not just our members. I mean, we've had people that are non-guildies running around with my ugly mug in a wig. That's kind of creepy. So that's if you got that, you can throw it up again, I guess.
That's better than the flags I've been seeing on our side or on the east, which is the hand of a big middle finger that says F Omega Ascended, because people are butthurt. So, and they got even more butthurt yesterday because we rolled them again yesterday. So we don't start it, guys. We just finish it. It's not my fault. I swear.
Well, we've had a lot of discussion with some of the guilds, since we kind of made our declaration of war, and we've had some guilds that we sat down and talked to, and they said, look, this isn't benefiting either one of us. Can we can we put an end to it? And we did come up with a ceasefire agreement with one of them, and we had one with another one, and then they decided that I guess it wasn't in their best interest. So we're back to being at war with 3 or 4 guilds now, I think. Which probably is, I don't know, like 4-1 as far as the population goes. But we've never backed down from a fight, and to be honest, it's just a lot of fun right now. I think that's what most of the folks are seeing is before the war that we had so many people that were just frankly bored to death. And now we've got a lot more people that are interested in coming out and helping our fishers. And we've got, I don't know how the farms seem to be doing really well with Nas and with Rast. And so we'll see. Oh God, somebody put up a YouTube video of Coltrane's video. Did Coltrane make a video? I'm afraid to look.
So that's gonna be scary.
Spin is in beard protest.
Well, I think actually Spin probably has more facial hair than Rastil. The difference is that it's blonde. and it's really hard to see on camera.
Yeah, I just had to. I shaved up yesterday for work. I had it going pretty good there, but I had to go back to work tonight, so I had to trim it up.
I like it short, so it's not a soup strainer.
There you
Nice.
go. There you go. You just save it for later. It's a survival thing.
Yeah, I don't think if we didn't go to war though, this server would be definitely dead with that alliance pretty much owning everything. They would just be running it into the ground right now.
Yeah. Whenever one kind of alliance kind of stands up and takes everything, and then takes the approach of being bullies and just killing lower guilds, less populated guilds, and saying, "Well, we do it because." I think that good people need to stand up and be like, "Well, we're going to respond because."
Exactly.
Now, it is a big change, and it's taking some people some time to come around to it, and I hope that we're able to give them enough support from the guild leadership and the members of the guild so that they can keep playing the way they want to play because we're out there PvPing, not in spite of the war, but because of our effort for the war.
Exactly.
Exactly, and that's what we're trying to do. You know, we now the guild farm has definitely got more of a focus to focus on, so they can focus with focus. Um, and our PvPers and the guys that are just aching to get out there, because quite frankly, not a big jab at the East, but there wasn't a lot of you guys out there, and well, we can't fight Omega Ascended all the time because, well, we like those guys, and hell, they just kind of come over and join us anyway. So, what the hell? I mean, but we had some good fights out there with Slayers, but man, you look at the guilds that have almost disappeared. I guess Purgatory's gone now. If they're still there, they're pretty small at this point.
I think people finally wised up to glitter.
Yeah, and what Swiggity, they're pretty much toast at this point. They're not there no more. It looks
Coalition.
like Spin, I think, looks frozen.
No,
No,
it's
he's
very,
not.
very still.
You must have
Disciplined.
been watching Coltrane's video.
And I haven't been very involved because I have to go through this great process called leveling all over again, and I hate leveling. If I'm leveling, I'm not putting people face down, and it makes me sad. But even as we are on cast, I am fishing, and I'm almost 50. I'm like 3 levels away or something. So
I come pick cactus at the farm.
Yeah.
So, Tyr, I was just going to ask, Tyr, I'm curious, what class combination did you decide to go with this year, second or third time around?
well, I don't get beat in arena very often, and even in those times that I do, it's usually really close. But I just got my butt handed to me, like beyond a shadow of a doubt, just straight up beat by this one class, and I'm sitting here looking at it, and the guy was from the west side. I'm playing on my east side, so I basically I'm basically talking to him through mail and about his class and everything, and I actually rolled a Dreambreaker, which consists of witchcraft, defense, and oromancy. And people ask me constantly, where's the damage in that? And it actually has constant damage with a lot of CC and potential for a huge burst spike every 20 seconds. And I mean like 7 to 8,000 burst spike, because in the defense tree you have Boastful Roar.
Yep.
That hits for 3,000 and has a chance to crit. But in Oromancy, you have Shrug It Off. So if you combine those two together, it actually increases the damage of Boastful Roar by 60. It's like 33 or 60%, I forget, but it's a lot. So every 20 seconds, you pop those two together, and it hits really, really, really hard. And I mean, I didn't even get him to half health, and that's saying something. And so me and the guy had a long talk about the class, and I decided to give it a try. The only thing that's kind of weird about the class is simply it doesn't have a spam attack ability, and that takes a little bit of getting used to, and some people don't like it for that reason. But there's only 2 classes that give it any problems so far, and that is a Prime Evil and a Dagger spell, and you have to be exceptional at those 2 classes to give it problems, and you still win most of those. So,
Yes, this is a grievance guild on the South Air server. All of us here are officers in grievance. One of the things that I saw about that Dreambreaker is it's in 1v1. That is like the biggest freaking troll class, man. I mean, you're constantly getting feared and everything else, and it's just annoying to fight. Chrisamir rolled up, was wearing leather and had a 44 scepter, and man, he was giving me a run for my money. Every time we fought. And he kind of got his rotation. I think he did beat me. I think he finally did beat me. And hell, I'm running 19,000 and something health right now, and like 53% defense. So, hats off. But yeah, I think that is probably about one of the better ones. And yeah, big shout out to Tetris. Good to see you back in here, man. But so Spin, what are you running? What class are you running?
I'm running Abolisher. Before the war, I was leveling up some other classes, but once the war started, I just shifted to Abolisher, and I'll worry about leveling up afterwards. Tyr might have time for it, but I'm a recruiter, so I don't have any time.
I know that feeling, man. I leveled Abolisher. I'm still playing Abolisher. One of the ones that I really want to try out is the Skull Knight. I've heard it's like a beast in, group PvP, and I'm really looking forward to trying that out. But so Nash, what are you running?
Nash or me?
Rast.
That's okay.
God.
I'm going the healing route. I'm doing cleric.
Okay.
So I don't got much time to run much else besides that when doing the farms and stuff, so I figured go the support class route.
Nothing wrong with that, man. I mean, yeah, they'll heal you. You can heal us to death.
Yes, I can.
Man, good healers are always needed. Especially, we've got a couple of guys that have gotten very proficient at healing in PvP. Now, of course, one-on-one healers aren't the best, but we've seen some clerics and some paladins that have done very well in 1v1s. They basically can just outlast your mana. And, they run somebody out of mana, and you're just going to poke them with a stick or hitting them with a stick.
Well, no, surprisingly, some of the healing spells, I can't remember off the top of my head, the first 2 you get, you combine them together, and they will actually do damage. One reduces increases the damage or healing done to the person, depending on who you cast it on. Does a fair little chunk of damage. You can pick up some Songcraft skills for PvP that'll do a little bit of damage if you need it.
Sky asked me how old I am. Isn't that it's an inappropriate question to ask someone of my age? My birthday was this past Sunday, I think it was. I just turned 42. So
a pup.
Yeah. So Dash, did we ever get the results on that poll? Everybody wants Grievance to go pirate. Wow. Ancient Papa Bear. That's kind of rude. I'm cool with it.
APB. It has a nice ring to it.
Yeah. We've seen some pretty interesting things over the last couple of weeks. There's been some really interesting posts about, Papa Bear's short bus, and there was a couple of videos that were put out there. The person that put the video out, they got some of the officers' names wrong, and we had some officers that, it's so funny, they were really hurt that they weren't included in that video. And they were like, why wasn't I in that video? I'm like, well, if I know, I don't even know who this guy is. But just the amount of time that this guy has devoted to the guild, I mean, is just absolutely amazing. He even rolled up a level 1 tune, ran it all the way down to our farm, was hanging out on our plaza. I was like, and they're like, fun. Oh yeah, and we're in some kind of, guild meeting and TeamSpeak, and I noticed he's just running into me. He's pushing me off the plaza and down by the water, and I'm like, this ought to be funny. So I just kind of sidestep him, run back up on the plaza. So he comes over and starts doing it again. This guy spent like 20 minutes trying to push me into the water. I was like, this guy really must be bored because he's investing a lot of time into us.
Guess enjoy the game however you can. If that's what
I
you
guess
get
so.
out of it, that's what you get out of it.
Yeah. So have any of you guys been in Serpentis yet?
No,
I have not.
Yeah.
Well, I know that we got a group that just cleared it the other night. I think it was last night. They actually went all the way through. I've seen some of the armor that comes out of there. It looks really cool now. Gizay, I guess we can talk about that here in just a minute, about the whole pay to win thing. That, Tryon really was pushing hard that they wasn't going to do something like that, but I'm here to tell you our economy has changed dramatically in the last week. When they brought out that one patch.
In 1 hour, it tanked.
We went from Thunderstruck trees going for around 1,500 gold, and I've seen them bottoming out to 270 now for a tree, not a log, a tree.
Yeah. So like, I think that they tried to be sneaky. Well, I don't know. They tried to be sneaky about that whole thing, because in Korea, Thunderstruck trees are on the cash shop. You just buy them off the cash shop. And I believe that was a poll put up at the last beta of whether to do that or not. And everyone said, no, that's retarded. We don't want that. And, but inadvertently, that's what they did. Essentially, you buy a chest, you get this tree that's got like this astronomical chance to proc Thunderstrucks, and you just put Thunderstrucks on the cash shop.
I did feel bad for some of our guildies. One guy bought 27 trees got 27 trees before he even got Thunderstruck. Well, people were getting like 4 or 5 Thunderstrucks from 10 trees.
He just wasn't holding his mouth right.
So I figured out the trick to getting a Thunderstruck from one of the rumbling Archeum trees is you need to have somebody wearing plate armor stand underneath the tree when it changes. And it's even better if their name is Bear, because every time I have stood underneath the tree, it has killed me and turned into a Thunderstruck. Of course, it doesn't work. Like if you plant 4 of them in a row, one of them I get killed, and then I'm running back, and the rest of them didn't turn. But I think I've planted a total of 16, 32, 38 trees, and I got 5 Thunderstruck. That's crazy, because they're done in an hour. That's just crazy. So. Yeah. But, what I actually noticed is the logs are still going. Last time I looked, they were going for 80 gold a pop, for a log. I mean, it's almost better to, Jack Ray, if you need me to come stand in your farm, there's a fee that's involved. It's not that I don't want to do it. It's just, no, I'm just kidding.
Got to pay the repair costs.
Yeah, I should pay a fair cost.
Well, when you look at the price of labor potions right now, you could turn around and get labor potions from the marketplace or from the loyalty store, and turn around, sell them, and make easily enough gold to buy Thunderstruck logs and trees.
Oh, easily now.
Yep. Yeah. We saw the labor potions have went through the roof. The vocation tonics that give you more experience for using your labor. Those things are like 35 to 40 gold now.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, they just kind of took the economy and put it in the shaker and threw it back out. It's absolutely crazy. Let's see.
It's really, and some may argue, well, they balanced it out by throwing, the trees, the cost of the Thunderstruck trees went down, but then the cost of labor pots and everything else went up. But I would argue that makes it even more pay to win, because you can't make vocation tonics or labor pot. You have to buy them. So
yeah. It's I know there's a lot of people that aren't real happy with some of the changes out there, and I haven't. When we were first talking about it in TeamSpeak, there was a lot of people that were like, this is freaking awesome. We're able to get Thunderstruck. And then we realized it's not just us. Everybody's able to do it. And like, Ras said, within an hour the economy crashed. People were actually working at getting Thunderstruck and selling them so they could pay for their taxes and stuff like that. So they can't do that no more. We did see a big spike in the Apex go. It's gone up a pretty good bit, but none of that is stuff that we can get in the game. You can't make labor potions in game. You can't make photonic potions in game.
Can't make the Apex in game at all.
No, so all this stuff has kind of come back to the auction house, which is, I hate to say it, but it really feels like it's kind of went more, more than just pay to get an advantage, like what we used to say it was. We used to say, yeah, you can pay to get an advantage. Now it just doesn't quite feel that way. It seems leaning a little bit more towards the other thing that we don't really like to say, but it is what it is. So, let's see, we don't know when 1.7 is coming out. We know they said they want it to come out before Christmas. But until then, we've just got Serpentis and
Castle Sieges.
Yeah, you got Castle Sieges, but
that's it.
Man, if they're getting that much gold, it's going to be really difficult for a guild to ever be able to grab one of those scrolls.
It's going to be interesting to see if Tryon follows the trends and if the same guilds keep buying their own scrolls, if they're actually going to step in and do anything about it. If not, it's going to be make Castle Sieges pointless when the guilds can just never get attacked.
Yeah, that was my worst fear, I guess, about the North opening up was kind of realized, because I always said that if the BR Alliance gets all the castles, we'll be able to seize them whenever they get bored and leave the server, because they made so much money through fishing. I think the last estimate was something like 23,000 gold a day or something like that, just from fishing, every day, and then now they get 17,000 a week just for doing nothing.
Yeah.
So it's going to make it really, really difficult.
Yeah, I have to give my tip my hat to Lunaticos, because they actually said that they would not bid on their own scroll.
That's
and if they follow through with that, that is a very honorable stance. And I think that we're going to see their scroll, get bid on by everybody. Now, if they're the only ones that do that, then the price of that scroll is going to go through the roof as well. So,
didn't Phoenix Brigade also say they were going to not bid on their scroll?
I heard that Phoenix Brigade said that they wouldn't, and then I was told that they were one of the guilds that said that they were just going to drop 50K on it. So.
Oh, and I wanted to bring up one point about the amount of money that comes in every week. I was discussing with someone today, and I think if you look on your map of Aurora, it tells you in the lower left-hand corner how much you're getting, and it ranges everything from just over 10 up to 15 this week.
Oh, wow.
10 to 15 this week.
And it depends on which lands you have.
That is insane.
I have
that is a
no
lot of
land up there.
Nope.
No, we probably had a handful of guildies that got a little bit of land, but somebody put up a video of what the land grab was like on the day Aurora came up. And it was basically, he was standing there and he's like, the little thing popped up on the center of his screen, and all of a sudden, land popped up everywhere. It wasn't, one or two houses here, one or two houses there. They were covered immediately.
Yeah, it was like synchronized. It was like the thing, and then boom, the land. And it was like, how did that even work?
Yeah. We know that they said that they actually, they got like 30 or so people that were using third-party programs. But man, it really felt like it was a lot more than that. We actually had a guildie who was using the tape method, where you put a piece of tape where the OK or the build button is, so when you click, you can get over there real quick. But he got his down, and as soon as he got his down, there was another one that came up underneath his. He had a 16 by 16 And when he actually built it, there was another 16 that was half underneath his, and neither one of them could use that half that was overlapping each other. And then his farm just disappeared. When he went to check on it the next time, it was like a dev come out. I was like, oh, well, we can't have that. And they took his farm away.
That's wrong.
Yeah. So I don't know. There was just a lot of weird stuff, man. The lag was bad and everything else. So it was just a really weird day. And Steelheart and I was talking about it, and his suggestion was that he really thinks that they should not have done the wait period. He thinks that was kind of the detriment, is, you know, putting off opening Aurora up until there were several guilds that could participate in it. And I look at it now and I'm thinking, you know, well, maybe that would have been a better way to go. I kind of have to agree with him. If it was just, you know, a first come, first served basis where, you know, the guilds had to work together and work hard to get up there and claim it that way, I think we would have seen a big difference on how the server turned out. We may have had a guild that got 2 castles, but we know that they can't, you know, they can't really hold 2 castles that well. And actually people getting land up there would have been a whole different story too. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, guys, we're coming up on our hour mark. Let's go to last thoughts. Ras, we'll start with you. What are your last thoughts for this week?
Let's get ready for these castle sieges in a couple weeks. Let's come together and everybody enjoy it. See what it turns out.
All right. Span?
I'm along the same lines. The castle siege is coming out. We know what our priorities are. We want to gear up. We want to bring in money. We want to support our farms, our fishers, our crafters, so they can support the PvPers. It's the circle of life. I want to see it all happen and us have fun while it's happening.
I agree. Tier.
I have to hit 50. That's priority number 1. I have to hit 50, and then comes the gear race. But at least whenever I hit 50, even without the gear, I can start better fulfilling my job as an officer in game with what I want to do.
I can understand that. 50 is a good starting point. And for those that don't know, he hasn't been trying to hit 50 this entire time. You know, he did just re-roll over here. So I think you've been here just a couple of days. It feels like it's about 4 days.
4 or 5
I
days.
think.
Yeah, 4 or 5 days.
So, so Bears' last thoughts of the week, I would have to say, dadgummit, we didn't get a castle. Hold on to your seats, because these next couple of weeks are going to be very interesting. I can guarantee you, Grievance is going to be working on getting some armor out there. We're going to be arming our people with weapons, and we'll see you on the high seas. So thanks everybody for coming by and joining us.
Thank you.
If I don't see you in game, I don't kill you in game, or don't shake your hand in game, don't take it the wrong way. It's all for fun. This